Well, good evening, everyone. So glad you could join me for the Q&A webinar tonight. This is Caitlin, in case you don't know, and I'm in my apartment in Orlando right now. I'm home based in Orlando, so I'm done traveling for the time being, but who knows when I'll pick things back up again. But for the time being, it's a little quiet. Yeah, it's at night, so I'm really excited that you could join me and kind of clear your schedule and kind of learn more about what you're thinking about getting into and get some of your questions answered and be encouraged. And a lot of people, come to webinars with me and they think they're going to learn more about me and more about, the course. And you are going to learn those things tonight. But what might surprise you is you're going to learn a lot about you tonight on the webinar. So we're going to be answering a lot of common questions that people have asked me. I mean, just this past week, I think it was Amy, and she might be on here tonight. Hi, Amy, if you are. Amy wrote to me, and she just asked, a lot of the common questions. She's like, I want to earn money from home, and maybe that's you too. And, I have these on the screen. She wants to improve her financial situation. Amy told me that exact same thing just this last week, and she's tried a lot before, and I'm picking on Amy right now, and I hope she's not mad at me, but she's kind of like just this person that I've just heard the same story so many times, and I just love helping people in this situation because I've seen people come out of it on the other side, and they're like, wow, I look back at myself and I don't recognize the person that first emailed you, and Amy, I think, is going to be one of those people. I just have a feeling about her. So if that's you, you've tried a lot before and you've taken other courses and, maybe the teacher wasn't very nice or there wasn't enough in the course that you could take and learn and actually apply to be successful. This is different. I think that this presentation will show you that, but we're just going to go over the different questions that people ask me, and there's 5 of them, and we're gonna go through them tonight. So, and the answers might surprise you. So, expect me to be a little bit candid with you. Okay, a lot candid with you. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the kind of person who's gonna try to sell you and try to push anybody and everybody into becoming a student with me. I'm just not like that. I'd rather only the right people come in, and you'll learn why throughout this presentation. So we're going to go over who's a good fit for my kind of teaching, my program, and who's not. And that'll surprise you a lot. We're going to go over, will I be able to find clients? And Amy asked me that. I was like, well, I think the question might be a little different, but we'll get into that in a minute here. How can I ensure I'll succeed? That's probably my number one asked question, is how can I be sure that I'll have success? So we're going to go over that. What if I'm scared? Probably the number 2 most addressed issue. And I'm picking on Amy again. She's like, I'm just so scared that if I go through this and I learn, that nobody's going to hire me. So we're going to go over that as well. Maybe you're in the same boat, And then, of course, how does the course work? I do want to give you some information that, get those kind of questions answered so you know what to expect and how it kind of works with enrollment and things like that. So we will get into that at the end. A little bit about me. I'm your guide, Caitlin Pyle. I've been freelance proofreading since 2007. I started Proofread Anywhere in 2014. It's been about 2 years. November of 2014. I'm an author. I've published 4 books. I'm an expert marketer, so probably I'm a little bragging on myself right now, but I'm really not a braggart, I promise. I'm just a real person, so I want you guys to know that about me, that my door is always open. But I am an expert marketer. I've been doing things online and as a freelancer and as, an online course person for a while now, and I manage other people's courses as well. And so when people ask me, are you going to teach me how to market? Yes, I am. So you can rest assured about that. You've got somebody who actually knows their stuff and who has marketed themselves very well. That's why you're here, right? I mean, you're here because you heard about me somewhere, right? So I know a little bit about marketing. I'm a real accessible person. I just told you that, Amy had no problems emailing me. I hope that you don't either. I know a lot of you on the call got an email about this webinar, and so that's why you're here. And so I want you to just feel free to contact me, even if, you put this on hold, and you see the recording later, you want to email me right now and ask me a question. That's totally fine. I'll get to it after the webinar, but I want you guys to feel free to contact me at any time because I am a real person and I do answer my emails. And I suspect that you've probably read through the 7-day intro course emails at this time, and you read my advice about answering emails and how important that is. So keep that in mind. I practice that, and I encourage everybody that I meet to practice the same thing. So first question on our list that I duct taped to the screen, if you notice the little duct tape. I love the duct tape. Who's a good fit for proofreading? So I have a list here for you, and I want you to kind of go through and tick them off for yourself. And you don't have to necessarily have all of these, but there's a good chance that you're a good fit if you kind of fit this, mold in a good way. So you got to be a great speller and love words. Of course, you have to have an eye for error. If you're reading some things and mistakes just pop out of the page at you, it's probably a good sign that you're a good fit for proofreading, because you are proofreading when things pop out at you, and that comes naturally for a lot of people. And I've embraced that. I think there's a lot of people who are like, oh, it's so nerdy. And I was one of those people. I was embarrassed to tell people I was a proofreader for a while there. And now I just totally rock it. I don't care. I mean, I'm a nerd and I love it because, proofreading has helped me earn a living, and I'm really grateful for that. And you just kind of have to roll with what you're good at. So got to enjoy reading, if you're sitting there reading and you're like, this is amazing, I could read for hours, and you're always, trying to read one more chapter, one more page, that's a good sign as well. Got to be able to sit for long periods of time. I actually have a desk elliptical, so even though you're sitting, you can still be active. So if you're kind of worried about being sedentary, it's optional. You can sit, but also, pedal away passively while you get some work done as well. Dedicated self-starter, I had to put that on the list because there's a lot of people out there that, and we'll get into, who's not a good fit on the next screen, but self-starter is just so important because if you can't take the tools that you're given and actually apply them, or if you're sitting there waiting for somebody else to do it for you, or, there's a lot of online scams out there that they're like, oh, it's just, a cash cow. You buy this for $100 or $1,000, however much it is, and you'll immediately start making money. That is bull crap. Like, don't even pay attention to that. Run in the opposite direction, because if you want to make money from home and you want to learn new skills, you actually have to learn new skills. Okay, so we're going to get a lot more into that during this presentation, but just to get you guys on the right page with me here, you got to actually do stuff. So got to self-start. Nobody's going to, if you do end up enrolling in any portion of our course and you just sit there, expect it to do magic, it's not going to happen. You got to hold yourself accountable for success. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to kind of pull this back to my own story for a second, and probably a lot of you guys' stories as well. I'm trying to lose a few pounds. I was in South America for a year and I gained 15 pounds, and I'm a little sad about it, but I've been trying to lose some weight, and I realized I wasn't holding myself accountable. I was just kind of giving up on day 2 50 times in a row, and it was not good. So to be successful in anything, you have to actually hold yourself accountable for that success and know that oftentimes, you're the only one standing in your way. So move out the way and know that your action is going to be what gets you your success. So willing to work to overcome challenges. So going back to the weight loss thing, whether it's working from home, weight loss, whatever it is, you got to be willing to put it in the work. Understands that skills not possessed can be learned. This is a big one because I think, it wasn't Amy. I think her name was Lauren. Last week, she emailed me and said, I want to do this, but I don't know how, and I was like, you don't have to know how. Not yet. That's the whole reason why I'm doing what I'm doing And so you need to know that just because you don't know something now, that you can learn it. And one of my life's mantras is that learning changes everything. And if you listen to other webinars by me, read my books or whatever, I talk about learning changes everything a lot because, 2 years ago, Proofread Anywhere didn't exist, and I didn't know how to create a blog. I didn't know how to create an online course. I didn't know how to teach people anything. I didn't know how to make videos. I didn't know how to make, a webinar presentation like this one, but I learned it. And once you learn it, you know it. You have storage capacity left in your brain is what I want you to know. So someone who's a good fit for proofreading will understand that, and I hope that you do. And yeah, so that's that for that list. And we're going to go to who's not a good fit for proofreading. Not skilled with words. This one's going to be a little bit easy to go through with you guys. Does not enjoy reading. Surprise. Does not want to learn anything new. And I italicized the word want on the screen for you because it's not that they can't learn anything new, it's that they don't want to learn anything new. And I'll pick on somebody who I will call Billy Joe. Not her real name, but somebody emailed me last week and she said, I want to be able to make money proofreading, but I don't want to have to take a course. I don't want to have to learn how to do it for court reporters. I just want to go and I want to do it, And I was like, I don't think this is a good fit for you because you might be, great with words and errors might pop off the page at you. And I told her just really nicely, very gently, I said, proofreading for court reporters is completely different than proofreading, a church bulletin or a menu or other places that you might see errors. There's just like a lot of moving parts is what I like to call them that can totally just mess you up if you don't know what you're looking for. And so I kind of left it at that. I don't like to push people hard on anything. And so, but that's just kind of a common theme for people not a good fit for proofreading or, learning this type of proofreading is that they don't want to learn anything new. They're not motivated enough to do that. So I would say if that's you, you can stop watching now, but if that's not you, or if it's, kind of you, but you want to get out of that, then I encourage you to keep watching tonight with me. Depends heavily on others. So I kind of mentioned that in the last slide. If you are the kind of person who just expects other people to do everything for you, like if you sign on with, a course of ours, or you get a book and you're like, read it to me, or, do all the work for me, or you hire somebody to take your tests or your exams or whatever, and you can't do it yourself, that's going to get you in trouble in any area of life. Blames others for your lack in life. So just blames others in general. If you don't have a lot of skills, you're like, oh, I blame my teachers, that kind of thing. And I'm not saying that those people aren't to blame in some respects, but there are so many ways to get new skills. There's so many things to learn, and it's not expensive. You don't have to go back to school and spend, $50,000 for a 4-year degree. You don't have to spend 4 years or 2 years even learning skills that you can use to get rid of your lack in life if you have it. And so major purpose of this Q&A tonight is to encourage you and show you that it's you who has the power to go out and learn skills and get rid of lack in your life and replace it with abundance. If you need lots of reminders to keep going, some reminders are good if you set them yourself especially, but if you constantly need reminders, say you sign up for a college course, say if you're back in college, it's kind of the person who, forgets that they have class on Monday morning at 8 a.m. kind of thing, and they just sign up for college and then just completely forget to go. They can't get out of their old habits or whatnot. So not a good fit for this type of work. We'll just put that out there. Not willing to work to gain the skills. We just touched on that. Gaining new skills takes work, and I want you to know that. I don't want to, sugarcoat that at all. If you don't have the skills, you can work to get them, and it's not a hopeless situation. Your brain still has the capacity to learn new things, and it doesn't matter how old you are. We have students that are 69, 75. I think I've got someone pushing 80 who they have added to their skills and are now using those skills to earn some extra cash to supplement on the side. Some of them took it a little bit further. One of them's actually, former paralegal. And I really like her story. She's on the blog. Look for a story about 69-year-old paralegal turned proofreader. I love that story. And then if you give up easily, if you're just going to give up, don't even get started. But if you're kind of the person who, like me, especially when it comes to weight loss, who gives up easily, recognize that in yourself. If you can recognize those things in yourself and you're like, oh, I gotta do something about that, then you might be a good fit for proofreading if you're willing to identify those things in yourself and get rid of them. So not all hope is lost if you see something in yourself on this list. So keep watching, and we'll see if we can identify some action steps you can take, or something to maybe get rid of those things in your life. So the next question on my list, of my duct tape list at the beginning, was, will I be able to find clients? And often, and we're going to be picking on Amy this whole time, and I really hope she's not listening now. I hope she doesn't send me a mean email or an upset email that I picked on her this whole time. But I think she'll see the value in this for her and for others listening. So everybody asks me, and I exaggerate a little when I say everybody, but a lot of people ask me, will I be able to find clients? And I write back to them and I say, we offer all the resources, all of the tools, everything that you're going to need to find the clients, but we're not going to find them for you. So, and we have a lot of success stories, a lot of students who made it all the way through the course and are finding clients, they're building their clientele, and they're doing it. And so what I've identified in almost 2 years of doing this is that the question is usually not, will I be able to find clients? The question is, will I be able to find clients? That's exactly what I've identified is usually the issue there, is that they're not doubting the course. They've seen all the success stories. They've read they've seen all of our screenshots from Facebook of students that are just being wildly successful at this and just taking the bull by the horns with the course and just doing it. But they are worried that they won't be able to have that same success. And so it's a very internal thing. And so if that's you, then you're in the right spot right now. We're going to just kind of dive into that and just figure out why you might be feeling that way. So we kind of touched on that when I talked about college and skills just briefly a while ago. So I want to ask you guys a question. Who is responsible for any success you achieve in life? Who is responsible for that? Is it the president? Is it your mom? Is it your dad? Is it your little sister, big brother, whatever? Nope. It's you. So I love these big slides with the word you on it. I think I might have another one, but it might only be this one and the other one. But it's you, guys. And I want you to, if you're listening to this right now and you're like, and you've kind of felt like smited by life, or you felt like you just can't get ahead, or you've tried so many different things, and sometimes it takes just landing on that one thing or that one skill, or you thought, so-and-so's doing this, so I'm going to try this too. And maybe that wasn't your thing, and I've done that before. I tried the corporate life. I tried working for other people. I tried personal training. I spent $7,000 on personal training school because I thought I wanted to be a personal trainer. Turns out I was meant to be a proofreader, and that's exactly what I ended up doing. I quit personal training in April of 2015, and I've been doing the proofreading thing, and now I've been doing the teaching thing ever since. And it's just really, you've got to sometimes find your thing, but regardless of what your thing is, you are the one responsible for achieving success in that or not. And what I found in general is that if you can apply yourself to learn the skills, and of course we're going to help you. I mentioned, everything you need is within our courses, and we have all the support you need within our Facebook group. A lot of students say that's their favorite part of the course, and I have to agree. Like, I'm the teacher, and I could say, yeah, the course is the best, but no, I actually like hanging out in the Facebook group more than, answering questions in the comments on the course units, just because everybody's so awesome there. But so we'll give you everything you need, but we can't learn the skills for you. And so it kind of goes back to that list that we went over of, signs that you're meant to be doing proofreading, is that you're willing to learn the new skills. We can't learn those skills for you. So it's all you. You see the theme here. You will have to secure the clients. So going back to, will I be able to find clients? Yes, if you actually take action. So we'll give you all the details about how to connect with everybody and where to look and just step by step everything. And even how to use social media. So park yourself for like 5 or 6 hours, watch our video tutorials about using social media to find clients. You're going to be blown away. And really, we added that over the summer, and I'm just really excited about all that. But we're not going to watch those videos for you. We can't. We had a hand in creating those videos. We will not watch them for you. We can't learn that material for you. So you have to take action on all of that. So yeah, taking action by applying your skills. So read it. You have to do excellent work. So excellence, I always say, is the bedrock of success. So if you don't do excellent work, you'll lose the clients that you just got, kind of thing. So that's why, a recurring theme in the course is to not rush. Take your time, and if you zoom through because you're super anxious to earn money, but you don't learn everything you need to know to earn that money and do the excellent work, you'll get some clients maybe, but they're gonna know like far and away that you don't know what you're doing. So then you'll lose the clients and possibly tarnish your reputation. I mean, some people in the court reporting world can get really vicious. They'll go on a Facebook group and mention you by name and say, never hire this person. So you don't want to be that person. So it's in your best interest, everybody's best interest, to really apply yourself to learn to do the work first. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for failure, before you really even get started. So that's my advice on that. So yeah, that was the point. I just told you the point. The point is that you have the power to create income for yourself. And I'm going to include a link below on the screen to an article on the blog about, why college, for example, doesn't create income and what does. So I'm giving you the answer. Maybe you don't have to read the post. I don't know. You can if you want. But the point is you have the power to create income for yourself using what you learn, whatever it is. So if it's proofreading, if it's how to lose weight, if it's, how to start a bookkeeping business, whatever it is that you end up doing, whether after this presentation, you are the one in control, okay? You are going to be the one using your skills to create income. Nobody else is going to do that for you. And if you don't believe that, then the risk is high that you're not even going to quit. So, or not even going to try, and that you'll quit. So if you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, it's really not me. I don't have the power to create income, and you're just like super down on yourself, like recognize that. I don't know I want to reach through the screen and just like hug you right now. Because I feel for you. I know what that feels like. I mean, even 2 years ago, I didn't believe that in myself. And I said, I don't want to start Proofread anywhere. Nobody's going to listen to anything that I have to say. Nobody's going to read my blog posts. Nobody's going to want to learn how to do what I'm doing, and I was very wrong. But if I didn't believe eventually that I had the power to create this, create Proofread anywhere, create that, or I don't even know where I would be right now. And so imagine yourself a decade from now and you're exactly where you are right now. Will you look back on right now and think, dang, if I only just believed in myself a little bit more, what would have changed by this point in my life, So think about that, and that's the point. And I want to be honest with you guys, and this is going to be a shocking statement that's currently on your screen right now, that a lot of people really don't believe me, but they totally get it once they get into the thick of things. Is that getting clients is actually the easy part in the course. Everybody thinks that it's going to be the hardest part that they're going to get through. They're going to sail through the course with flying colors. They're going to learn it all, and then that they're going to get stuck getting clients. Well, the reason why I say that getting clients is actually the easy part is because when you're actually doing the work and you're reading that transcript and you're the one having to send it back to the client, there's no practice transcripts for you or annotated versions for you to check your work. There's nobody to read after you. There's nobody to grade your test. It's just the client. The client is going to get your work. And so they're the only ones who can say that you did a good job on this. There's no teacher, there's no, teaching assistant, there's no peers in your group. I mean, you might be able to convince somebody else to read your transcript for free after you to make sure you didn't miss anything, but I highly doubt it. So the hardest part, and the fact is, I'll just be completely honest with you, maybe too honest, I don't know. More people will enroll in the course than will actually finish it. It is more difficult to complete the course than it is to find clients. I kid you not. People get in and they're like, I thought I was going to sail through. I had somebody, Patty, and that is her real name. She is one of our success stories, and I think you can even go to her website and email her if you want. Patty was a court reporting student, and she enrolled in the course thinking, because she went to court reporting school, that it was going to be super easy. She was going to fly right through and be done in a month. Well, that's not what happened. And now one of her favorite things to talk about with new students within the group is just how much her attitude changed when she got into the course and realized how much she didn't know. And, she really enjoyed learning what she didn't know yet and enjoyed brushing up on her skills. But she loves talking about just, her attitude before and after. She just kind of got smacked in the face a little bit, and we love to laugh about that now. But it's the truth, it is difficult to complete the course, and I make it that way on purpose because it is hard work. And I don't want to fool you. I don't want to give you this easy course and then you go out to find clients and they're just like, you suck, I don't want that to happen. So I purposely try to make the course as much like a real life situation as possible. And as a result, you become really confident. You can conquer this stuff and end up being really good at, what you do and feel good about it. So when you go out to get your clients, you're going to feel good about it. And imagine if you just zoom through the course and then you go out and you try to find clients and you really don't know what you're doing, but you're trying to convince yourself that you do. Your confidence is going to be a lot lower than if you take your time and really get that excellence as your bedrock first, and then use that to earn clients. You're just going to feel so much better about it. And, email Patty, she'll be able to tell you exactly that. So yeah, the biggest mistake, and if you've taken I think it's day 3 on the 7-day intro course, that 3 big mistakes that freelance proofreaders make. Well, here's another huge mistake that my students make, or have made. A few students have made, that if they focus on how to get the clients before actually knowing how to do the work. And we just touched on that just a second ago, but it's just so much more important to know how to do the work than it is to know how to get clients. Getting clients is the easy part. So I want you right now to just admit to yourself, and I'll take a minute. I'll just sit here and wait while you admit to yourself that getting clients without knowing how to properly serve them is a terrible idea. Okay, it's a terrible idea. Say it out loud with me. It is a terrible idea, okay? And we just went over why. And I guess I had forgotten about this slide. I don't know. Thinking that you know what you're doing and you just oh, okay, skip. I'll skip this unit, skip that unit. I already know that, and then you try to go get clients and you just try to wing it. And it's just a horrible idea because they know, they see some of them, a lot of them, surprising number of court reporters actually plant errors into the first transcript or 2. It is a growing trend, and they will plant things in the hardest to find places. And if you don't find them, then they'll know that you have no idea what you're doing and you will stick out like a sore thumb. So it's just so important to know what you're doing before you go out and try to find work. So you serve yourself and your clients so much better when you take the time to learn first. Write that down. Take the time to learn first. You're going to see that recurring throughout the course and throughout the blog as well. So a couple of facts I just want to recap with you. The course isn't magical. I actually mentioned that in the beginning. I wanted to save it until now, but I just couldn't wait. The course isn't magical. You're not going to transform into a paid proofreader just because you paid a tuition fee. It's kind of the, sit back and wait and let other people do the work for you kind of thing. We don't do that. If you sign up and, Beginner Basecamp or Jumpstart or any of our, beginning level portions of the course, and you just sit and wait and expect it to be fed to you and somebody to click your mouse or turn the pages or take your notes or ask your questions. It's not going to happen. You got to take action. There's the recurring theme, you must use what you learn to create income, and no one will do it for you. It's worth repeating. We can give you everything you need, but we're not going to do anything for you, and we can't proofread for your clients. So think in the future if who's going to do that work for you, and it's going to be you. Learning and hard work, this is going to hurt some of you guys, and some of you guys might just leave at this point, and that's totally okay. That's fine with me. If I make people mad by saying all this stuff, because that's how I keep the quality of my students high, So I come out and say it. Learning and hard work are not optional, especially not in my course. If you think you know it all already and you think you can just breeze through, don't sign up, please. And that might sound mean to some of you guys, but my purpose here is not to get as much money out of you guys as possible. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to train people up to be excellent in this industry, and there's a need for that. There's a need for people who are actually good at proofreading. There's too many people out there trying to wing it, and too many people that are getting a bad reputation. I see too many times people making, big mistakes and getting their name tarnished in public. It's just horrible. So I don't want people like that in my course. Yeah, so you're probably wondering why I'm even bothering telling you all this stuff. It really comes down to quality, and I just mentioned, that's how I keep the quality of my students high. It's very important to me that I not have quantity, but quality. So that's just how I limit who enrolls and who doesn't. I have limited resources. I don't have a huge staff of people like holding everybody's hand. Not everybody. The course would cost a lot more if we did everything for you or held your hand the whole way. We're there for you. There's a huge amount of support, but our resources are limited. And so if I just pack it full with people who are not meant to be proofreaders or not cut out to be proofreaders, then I do myself and everyone else a disservice. And then the third reason is just to protect the industry. I'm tired of seeing people sad about how horrible their proofreader did and they still had to pay them, or they didn't want to go to small claims court for not paying, and so but the proofreader was really bad. And I want to protect the industry and help equip good people to help these court reporters that are in need. They need good proofreaders to do the work for them. So one of the other questions, we're kind of getting down the list here about on the duct tape list, was how can I ensure my success? So I've got 5 steps for you, and you're going to be able to access this recording at any time after this. So, you don't have to worry about writing it down now, but you can if you want. So I've got 5 steps to ensure success. Step 1 is, and yeah, I told you I was going to be repetitive. Just want to make sure it gets in your head. You want to focus on learning first and never rush this process. And I can't emphasize that enough. If you rush, you're going to fall flat on your face. Step 2 would be to just become excellent through your dedicated practice. So excellence is your bedrock. If you try to build success on a shaky platform or build it on sand, if you haven't firmly planted your ground with excellence, then you're going to fall. So that's not a way to ensure success at all. By becoming excellent, that's going to lead to confidence, and that will allow you to confront and squash your fear. And we're going to talk more about fear in a second. Or a minute, let's be realistic. Step 4 is to learn to market effectively, and Module 8 is going to turn you into a marketing expert. I'm going to teach you everything I know about networking and marketing in this particular niche in Module 8. Step 5, get your first client and slowly build your business. Why? Why slowly? Why can't I run out and get every client that I can get my hands on first? Like when I'm a new graduate, just learned how to market effectively in Module 8. Why can't I run out and get every client I can find? Because that first client, maybe first 1 or 2 clients, you want to invest in those first 2 clients. You want to maybe even read every job twice. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, you're not going to make any money for your first couple jobs, probably. I mean, you're going to be spending more time than it's worth, but that's not the way you're going to stay. You're going to spend a lot of time making sure that those transcripts for those first 1 or 2 clients are absolutely perfect. And the reason you want to do that is so you can earn referrals. And then if you can work really hard and earn those referrals, your business will build itself. And so you're not going to have to use everything in Module 8 initially, except initially to get your first 1 or 2 clients, and then it will build itself. But the key to that is going back to step 1 and 2, learning first to become excellent. Because if you don't do that, then you will not impress those first 1 or 2 clients, and you will not get referrals, and your business will not build itself. So that's why I recommend start with your first client and slowly build from there instead of getting 15 or 20 right out the gate. It's just not a smart idea. And it's hard for some people to hear because they're only doing this because they want to make money. And those are not people I want in my course. I want people who are committed to learning and committed to excellence so they can learn to do things the right way and build a great reputation for themselves instead of a bad one. So going back to Amy, we haven't talked about Amy in like 15 minutes. So we're going to talk about Amy, and she had that common theme about, she's scared, So what if you're scared? What if I'm scared? You're asking me that right now. Maybe you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, you're funny, Caitlin. You're kind of cheesy, whatever. But I'm still scared about this. And so we're going to go into, and here's some adjectives, or I love the thesaurus. So I looked it up. Fearful, terrified, nervous, synonyms for scared. They are, kind of synonyms, I guess. I was like, nervous, that's not really a synonym, but I put it there anyway because that's a word that I get, that I see in emails a lot. Amy specifically used the word scared, though. So the only way to fail, and this is kind of like a motivational quote, but it's so true. The only way to fail is to give up. And then maybe the only way to fail is if you don't even start, sort of. But if you don't start, then you're not really failing if you don't start. But if you start something and then you just give up on it, then of course you're going to fail. But if you love proofreading, if you love finding errors, if you love reading, and you get started on your proofreading journey and you want to make money doing it, and then you just give up, that is a surefire way to fail. But if you don't give up on yourself, if you take it one day at a time, one word at a time, one punctuation rule specific to court reporting at a time, just one day, 1 hour at a time, you will find success. If you give up, however, that is how you will fail. So we're going back to the scared thing just real quick. And I want you to know that there's power in knowing why you're scared. So let's go over a couple of reasons. I don't know how many reasons I have here. Why you're scared. Number 1, you're a human. People get scared. It happens. 2, you don't know what you're doing yet. So remember when I made you admit that you don't know everything there is to know? It's kind of the same thing. You don't know what you're doing yet. So I remember starting personal training school, scared to death. I said, I don't know what I'm doing here. I have no idea how to be a personal trainer. And then I realized how silly that sounded because that's why I was going to school, to become a personal trainer. So I had to admit to myself, I don't know what I'm doing yet. That's why I'm nervous. And so when you realize that, it's just powerful, Maybe you've never done this before. So it's kind of ties into not knowing what you're doing yet. You've never proofread in this particular industry before. And so you're like, are these people really going to pay me when I learn this? Well, yeah, they will, but you've got to learn it first. Number 4, you are completely new to this type of proofreading. You see a theme here. I'm being repetitive on purpose. You're completely new to this type of proofreading. You've never done this before, and you don't know what you're doing yet. So chain those 2 together, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe you've been scammed. This is a little different. Maybe you've been scammed online in the past. Maybe, hopefully by now you know that I'm not trying to get your money if you're not a good fit for my program. But maybe you've been scammed online and you're just like, oh man, maybe this presentation is just a new way to get people to spend money. Well, guess what? It's not. If anything, it's a way to get people not to spend their money because I'm focused so much on quality control, more so than you'd probably find anywhere else. You'll find more things online to maybe convince you not to enroll than you will to enroll. So if you want me to email you with reasons why you shouldn't enroll, then send me an email and tell me your situation, and I'll tell you flat out whether I think you should enroll or not. So try me. Last one, you haven't learned how to market yourself yet, and that's in Module 8, and we put that at the end just to keep it from being a distraction. So we have 9 modules. Module 8 is marketing, and we put that on the end so people don't race through everything and try to learn how to market before they know what they're doing. And when you know how to market, then you're like, oh, okay, well, that's not scary at all, you know. But if you don't know how to market, then marketing is scary. And I don't really love marketing, but it's not scary to me anymore because it's quite simple. When you know what you're doing, when you know where to look and you know what to say, it is quite simple. So if you're scared of that, then you got to realize you just don't know what you're doing yet. So look back at number 2. It should, hopefully this makes you feel better, you know, just knowing that you just don't know what you're doing yet, and that you will if you proceed on and you put your learning first. So I wanted to remind you, I've been doing proofreading since 2007, but I was once a beginner. So if you're thinking kind of like me on my first day of personal training school, or even the very first time I read a transcript, I was once a beginner. You know, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. You know, I was very lucky in that I had someone who managed a court reporting company, who was a court reporter herself, teach me how to proofread. But not everybody has that luxury, which is one main reason why I began the course, because there had to be a way for people to learn how to do this without working at a court reporting agency, you know. So I was once a beginner, and I once knew nothing, and just I worked at the agency starting in 2009. So yeah, I mean, you do the math. That many years later, I'm not a math person, I'm a words person. That many years later, you know, now I'm an expert. I'm the expert in proofreading transcripts for court reporters online. You won't see anybody blogging about it nearly as much as me. But I want you to know that I was once a beginner. I had to start somewhere, and so do you. So that's kind of the mindset stuff I wanted to go over. I wanted to talk a lot about you. I wanted to talk a lot about me, so you know that I'm not just this, like, I'm not any different than you are right now. 5 years ago, I was exactly where you were. Even 2 years ago, when I was starting this blog, I had no idea what I was doing, you know, and that's a whole different business in itself. But starting any business is a little bit scary, and so I wanted to talk a lot about being scared and fear and, you know, mindset, and just focusing on who's really in charge here, and it's you. So now we're going to talk just briefly about how the course works. Well, everybody enrolls in stages. So I know a lot of people are like, you know, a lot of online courses will be like, the course is $1,000 or whatever the price is, and that's the only option. You either buy it or you don't. Well, I don't do that. I have everybody enroll in stages. It's more cost effective that way, and it prevents you from getting overwhelmed. So you start specifically with Module 1, and then you only have the choice to go forward from there. You don't get to skip around. You don't get to see everything in Module 8 and then go back. You start in stages. And so nobody's overwhelmed, and everybody goes in order, and it's just a lot easier that way. You start with Beginner Basecamp. That's Module 1, and it includes all of our resource guides. So you actually will get a book about mindset, and a book about, you know, starting your business with your whole taxes. I have my work at home survival guide included in that, so it's going to help you with your mindset as well, and just preparing to work at home and preparing to go out into this business. And then it's all of Module 1 that you'll get as well, and that includes some other goodies as well, so we'll get into that. What's included in, I just went over that. I'm sorry, you guys, we're going to go through this quickly. What's included in Beginner Basecamp? All 4 of my resource guides, full length, hundreds and hundreds of pages of really, really good stuff that you're going to want to know before you get started in the course, especially like taxes, freelance stuff, you know, and then just in general working at home, the kind of environment you need, things like that. More mindset stuff. I call it Basecamp because it's just better to get your mind right and to get your fears quelled at first than trying to do it, and you know how to deal with it when it comes up again during the course. It includes a 100-question worksheet kit with our resource guide on commonly misused words, and that comes with the answer key as well. It's like 25 pages. It's a lot. It's a lot of worksheet stuff, so you'll have fun with that. You get a lifetime membership in PA Proofreaders Facebook group, which is the best group on Facebook. It is the most supportive group. I mean, people have lost their husbands in that group, and we just rallied together and helped each other out. I've never seen anything like it. It's just, I mean, beginner base camp and lifetime membership PA Proofreaders, like if that was all it was, it would be worth it. You get lifetime membership in our other Facebook group called Freelancer Freedom. And that is more for, everybody doing freelance work, not just proofreaders. So it's a great place to get resources on other types of freelancing, branching out from your business. Believe it or not, a lot of my proofreaders go through and they're like, I love this, I know I can do it now. I know how to network. And they add on other skills like editing for court reporters, or maybe they do legal transcription. There's just so much you can do. And so we talk about that in Freelancer Freedom. You get a $50 discount towards the 30-day Jumpstart program. So Beginner Basecamp will give you access to Module 1 for a week, and then you add on, so you'll get like 5 weeks of access to the first 2 modules, and you'll get it at a discount. So all of this, you get included lifetime memberships to the Facebook groups, $50 discount toward the 30-day Jumpstart. That's huge for people because they're like, I want to do Jumpstart, but it's a little expensive. But Beginner Basecamp is just $77, and the discount really makes it worth it. There's no expiration date on the discount either. I didn't add that to the list, but it's important to people. They're like, well, do I have an expiration on when I can use the discount? Nope, you don't. You can use your discount at any time, even after your 7 days of access to the first 7 course units expires. So, and then you move on through the rest of the course in a similar manner where you add on the next modules and the next modules, and it just really breaks up the cost of the course altogether. So, and then the 30-day Jumpstart at the end of Module 2, which is a long module, and on punctuation, things to look for in transcripts. You're going to learn a lot in that module. You're going to take the 100-question word skills test at the end of that. And I love the 100-question word skills test because it actually helps me weed out more people. So they get all gung-ho and they take Beginner Basecamp and they learn a lot in Beginner Basecamp, but they haven't taken, the word skills stuff yet. So they get to the end of Module 2 then at the end of their 30-day Jumpstart, and they take the 100-question word skills test, and they're either going to score above 80%. So there's 100 questions, so you can miss 20 questions, and then we'll still let you proceed to the next 3 modules, which we call next steps. If you score below 80, though, we will actually recommend not investing in the rest of the course modules, and it just goes back to quality over quantity. So it's kind of the gateway to the rest of the course. You can enroll in Beginner Basecamp and Jumpstart and have 5 weeks to really decide whether you're cut out for this. Beginner Basecamp and 30-day Jumpstart are designed to kind of be your boot camp, to really decide whether you're going to make it and the rest of it. And so the reason we started doing that is because we didn't want to have people paying for the full course up front and then only making it through the end of Module 2. We didn't want to do that. And so it's just a way to help people be extra sure that they are a good fit for this and give them a chance to turn back if they're not. So without having risked a lot financially and still having learned a lot regardless. So I want to make sure you know that you're going to get your money's worth if you invest in either and the Beginner Basecamp and the 30-day Jumpstart. It's everybody loves it. I get so many emails of people that are like, I'm so addicted, and it does have that effect. So you're going to go through it, and a lot of people will finish before the 30 days are up because they just couldn't stop. They get so hooked on it. And that might happen to you. And then if you do that and you just love it, that's a huge, amazing, awesome, good sign that you'll be good, especially if you score above your 80% on the Module 2 word skills test. So that's a little bit about 30-day Jumpstart. So let's just go over briefly, and we're almost done here, so thanks for sticking with me. Points to remember, okay? You have the power to create income for yourself using skills and knowledge, even if it's not with proofreading. So I mentioned, if you go through the 30-day Jumpstart and the Beginner Basecamp together, and at the end you're like, I really learned a lot about word skills, and I really polished my punctuation, but I just didn't really enjoy it. You need to know that you still have the power to create income for yourself, even if it's not in this particular niche, okay? And it might not be. Learning and hard work are not optional. Remember that. The only way to fail is to give up. There is power in knowing why you're scared. Remember that. So if you know why you're a human, you haven't done this before, that's why you're scared, then it's easier to look it in the face, look that fear in the face and say, just go away. Learning will change everything. Focus on learning first, always. And then remember that every expert, including me, was once a beginner. And I want you to know that you're too smart to be the only one standing in your way. So if you are in the position right now where you're like, I just don't know if this is for me, and I just don't know, I'm just so nervous, like I just don't want to spend $77 on beginner base camp and then not like it and not learn anything that I didn't already know, like you're going to learn something. I guarantee you that there is something in there, a lot in there that you did not know, and you are going to be moved to make some changes in your life regardless of whether you continue with proofreading or not. And that's my goal for you. It's not to create a million proofreaders. I really don't care if you decide to move on to something else or not. Like, I want you to be happy. I want you to find your thing, and that might not be proofreading. It might be proofreading, and that would make me ecstatic. But it's not going to break my heart if you're just like, Caitlin, I listened to your presentation and I said to myself, this applies so well to me, but just not in proofreading. And maybe you decide you want to go start your own nonprofit, or you want to start a blog, or maybe you want to go become a transcriptionist or something like that. Like, find your thing and run with it. But don't stand in your own way. You have to realize how smart you are, how much power you have to create income by learning. So learning will change your life if you give yourself the chance to learn and you realize that you don't know it all already. Even if you don't know it all, it doesn't mean that you're not smart. And the fact is, you are too smart to stand in your own way. So that is kind of it, guys. It's your move. So I'm going to include some links underneath on the page and on the recording. If you're watching this not live, then I want you to just really think about it. If you want to do beginner base camp, that's great. I'll have a link to that. And if you want to get your $50 discount on the Jumpstart and just make a move, whether it's, move off the page and go find something else to do, great. But just imagine your life in 10 years, in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 50 years, and you're like, man, I wish I had done something then, Imagine your life, what it could be like. You could be like Patty, who she just quit her job and now she's proofreading full time, and that could be you, but you won't know unless you get started. So don't stand in your own way. And if you have any other questions, I want you just to reiterate, email me anytime. My email address is right here, Caitlin@proofreading.com. I'll be hanging out after to pick up your emails and answer them. I hope to see you in the course. If not, I wish you the best of luck in your life journey toward finding freedom in your life and just making your life the best it can be, because you really only have one life. So make sure you live it and live it well. Thanks, guys. See you next time.